Hello, I'm Avis Kalfsbeck, and this is the Peace is Here podcast. Welcome to Peacewarts, School of Peacecraft and Inquiry, where we practice the skills of peace through short daily classes. We take the peace work seriously, but not ourselves. If you're joining us mid-school year, you're not late. Orientation begins at episode 198. Welcome, Peace Scholars. We've spent 14 days in Universal Understars 101. Today we summarize and close this chapter on the stars and prepare to carry this cosmic perspective back down to Earth. The global revolutionary Thomas Paine, a man who belonged to 3 different nations but claimed none of them as his master, famously said, "The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion." For too long, the world below has treated peace like a lucky weather pattern, something that just happens to us if we're fortunate. They treat it as a mood or a feeling. But as we prepare to transition out of this department, we must understand a fundamental truth. War is a fragile system. War requires constant, exhausting upkeep, propaganda, walls, and the drawing of straight lines. Peace is the stable underlying infrastructure of the universe. It is what remains when we stop tearing things apart. What we gain from an Understars perspective. When we adopt the Understars perspective, we gain the gift of a wider allegiance. We move past the provincialism of the street level and realize that our primary country is the biosphere. We gain the humility to see that our enemies breathe the same air and inhabit the same single pixel of light. This perspective grants us a structural immunity to hate. It makes the logic of conflict look like a mathematical error. By looking up, we finally see clearly enough to look across, recognizing that the only borders that truly matter are the ones that protect the air, the water, and the shared future of our children. The concept, the role of the peace scholar. If you look at the straight lines we studied, you see they require massive effort to maintain, armies and extraction. Global citizenship is the counter-infrastructure. It is the realization that we are not subjects of a map, but citizens of a planet. As a peace scholar, your role is to look at the health of the system. When you look at a news report or a neighbor, you're now looking for the communication links. You're asking, is the link open? Is the shared watershed protected? The recap, 2 weeks in the tower. As you descend from the tower to the next apartment, carry these 2 shifts with you. 1. From map to territory. You no longer mistake the lines drawn on a page for the reality of the soil. You know that typography, the rivers and the mountains, is the truer blueprint. 2. From ego to species. You've seen the overview effect. You know that nationalism is a sensory error caused by being too close to the ground. You are now a patriot of a species, not just a patch of dirt. The thesis, the strategy of peace. The lesson for today is that peace is not a gift. It is a harvest. On June 10, 1963, John F. Kennedy gave his famous Strategy of Peace speech at American University. He didn't call for a Pax Americana enforced by weapons of war. He called for a genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living. That speech was a groundbreaking ceremony for a world that requires our focus. He reminded us that our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man. You cannot unsee the high view. From this moment on, when you go to the grocery store or read the news, you're standing in the real classroom. Peace is not a fantasy we're waiting for. It is the infrastructure we are currently building. Your homework. 1. Interrupt your routine by looking at your passport or ID card. Imagine it doesn't just list a country, but says citizen of the Understars. How does that change your responsibility to the person standing next to you? 2. Write down one final question for this department. If no question comes to mind, just write no question. 3. Optional. Look up at the night sky tonight. Tell the stars, "Hey, Understars, let's keep an eye on peace." How about it? Even though we'll be meeting next class in the Department of Living Roots, you can still keep your eyes on the Understars. Class dismissed. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support the Pieces Here podcast, the most helpful way is to follow it wherever you're listening. It helps share the message with others. You can also support this piecework at my Patreon for $4 a month, about what a used paperback goes for these days. Just go to Patreon at patreon.com/Avis Kalfsbeck. That's AVISKALFSBEEK. My most recent book is Monomutante, a best friend eco-fiction novella about food systems, featuring Tilly, Camas, Pedro, and the rest of the gang. It's book 6 in the Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series and is available wherever you buy books. You can find all of my peace projects and stay in touch at aviskalfsbeck.com. Music is by Javier Peque Rodriguez. Sound effects are from Pixabay. Regarding peace, we need not delay or despair. We are not late. We are right on time to love. We are all scholars of peace. Listen for the peace.